What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to knock out my top 10 albums of 2024. If you did not see, we did a stream over on Future Ruins channel where 5 of us talked about our favorite albums of 2024. So that's 50 albums for you to potentially check out if you haven't heard them yet. So definitely go check that stream out. I just wanted to sort of formalize my list and finally be done with it by making this video and complimenting my 11th through 20th favorite records video that I just did. So without further ado, let's kick this off. Number 10 for me this year was the new Nahtrunar album, Hrima. Future Ruins had this as his favorite album of the year, and I gotta say, I think I put this one too low on my list. It's far too late to make changes, but I really just think I kind of probably due to the length, it's almost 90 minutes long. I think I underestimated how much I enjoy it every time I listen to it, but it's just so transportive. It's a really cool mix of black metal and folk and ambient, and it's just got a really, really unique atmosphere to it. This was an incredible, incredible record. If you're not familiar, Nahtrunar is a solo project from Austria. Definitely worth checking out. And, you know, it is an investment, but the last 6 tracks, I think, are all ambient. So it's kind of just a double album. It's a 2-disc album, I guess. So theoretically, you could listen to the first one and just enjoy that for about an hour and then call it a day, but I really think the whole thing's worth listening to. Number 9 for me was the new Brodequin record, Harbinger of Woe. Brodequin is a brutal death metal band from Knoxville, and this was kind of their return album. I don't know if they formally broke up, but they were definitely on a long hiatus, and they came back with this one. I know a lot of true Brodequin fans weren't a fan of this album. I think the production was kind of a little too polished for a lot of people's taste. Brutal death metal fans can be similar to black metal fans in the sense that they like their grit and their sort of sloppy, raw production. But I think the production on this one was great. You could tell what was going on, but it still had that low end, that heavy, chunky, like brutal death metal vibe to it. All the tracks on this record are very fast. It's only like 32 minutes long or something like that. Just a lot of fun. I mean, it's weird to call an album that's fully about like medieval torture fun, but it's an energizing record, I'll put it that way. Number 8 this year is the new Sacrificial with Black Terror Genesis. This is this project's first release. They are from Minnesota, if I remember correctly. And I mean, man, this is just a phenomenal record. I think these guys have been in other projects before. It's definitely got that vibe where it's not just like amateurs who are stumbling into making music. This is a very polished and well thought out affair. This is black metal in the style of Akhlys, I would say. It's very kind of nightmarish and scary and fast. This is not the first time I've made a comparison like this, but it kind of reminds me of Bloodborne, the video game. It's a bit Lovecraftian and kind of just disorienting and just really uneasy. Not so much one of those records that's like super memorable, like you can pick out specific moments on the record that you really remember, but it's more about the overall atmosphere that this one brings. But what an atmosphere it is. This is just a frightening record. And for better or worse, for whatever reason, that is something I really look for in metal. I genuinely want to feel that like unease and that sort of like, just that authentic kind of scariness that certain types of extreme metal can offer. So yeah, that's number 8. So number 7 this year was the new Chelsea Wolfe record. I did a full video review of this one, so I won't belabor the point here. This is not metal, obviously. What it is a pretty cool, dark electronic, trip hop type album. I don't know. It was pretty unique for me. This is a genre of music I'm really unfamiliar with, but really enjoyed this record. Lots of memorable tracks. I think people who like metal will get something out of this record, so it's definitely worth a listen if you haven't checked it out. But Chelsea Wolfe's pretty popular in the metal community, so I wouldn't be surprised if most people heard this one. But yeah, I mean, this is one I spent a lot of time with, especially earlier in the year. Yeah, just really fun, kind of melancholic electronic record. Number 6 is the new Akhlys record, House of the Black Geminus. Akhlys is one of my favorite black metal bands. It feels a little weird to say this is my 6th favorite record of the year and then go on to say it's my least favorite Akhlys record, but here we are. I don't know if it's the production or something about the fact that they're now a live project, so they have to kind of think more about being able to play their material live. That might be what it is, but it doesn't quite have the same like majestic, dreamy quality that their first metal full length did. I say first metal full length because their real first full length was just dark ambient. A bit of that magic is missing, but I mean, this is still a really, really strong album. There's elements of death industrial, dark ambient, obviously hyper fast black metal, and this is still an incredible, incredible record. I really love everything that Naz Alchemeth does, and this record's no exception. Again, like I said with the Sacrificial record, it's really just scary, nightmarish black metal, and that's just something I really enjoy for some reason. Number 5 is the new Verberis record, The Apophatic Wilderness also did a full review of this one, so check that out. This is blackened death metal out of New Zealand, shares members with the band Ulcerate, and it kind of has a similar vibe, but it's definitely a lot more black metal than Ulcerate has ever been. And I think that's why I ended up liking it a bit more, well, actually a lot more than the new Ulcerate record, just because those black metal elements kind of gelled with those a little better. This is a very highbrow, philosophical, theological type of album, lots of veiled symbolic language and really dense lyrics and dense riffs too. But there are still moments where it's just straight up catchy metal record. And that's kind of why I kept coming back to it, because all the density made me feel like I was discovering something new every time I listened, but there were also enough catchy moments that I wanted to go back just to hear those. So I listened to this album like 20 times last year. I mean, it was a phenomenal record. I spent a lot of time with this one. Number 4 is Spectral Voice with Sparagmos. Nothing really needs to be said about this one. So many people are hyping this record up, and I mean, for good reason. But I don't know that I have that much original stuff to add anymore, although I did do a full review of this one, so check that out. This is, Death Doom from Denver, members of Black Curse and Blood Incantation. Kind of funny I said it in that order, because Blood Incantation would obviously be the more famous of the two. But yeah, I mean, this is just an incredible Death Doom record, really scary, really just kind of gross and grimy. It's in that production sweet spot, great vocal performance, incredible record. I'm sure you've heard it. If you haven't, check it out. Number 3 is the new Paysage with Berge. Paysage, favorite project ever. I've already reviewed a lot of his records on the channel. This one is just, I mean, it's exactly what you would expect. It's transportive, magical, melancholic, transcendent. I mean, this is just a perfect record. And I think he has alluded to the fact that this may be the last Paysage record, so that's pretty sad. But he went out on a strong note. I mean, this is probably my favorite of the last 3 records he's done. So I think maybe he really mustered all of his talent and energy for this one. It's just a superlative record. I can't say enough good things about it. And it's a 102-minute album, but every second is just like really enjoyable. Number 2, another one of my favorite bands ever, Aara with Eiger. Aara is a Swiss trio. They are, oh, hey, what do you know? I did a full video review of this one. So feel free to check that out for my fuller thoughts. But yeah, this is just fast-paced, hyper melodic, atmospheric black metal. They added elements of sort of acoustic guitars and I guess a bit more dynamics on this record, so that gives it a cool quality that makes it feel fresh within the Aara discography. It's also got some elements of death metal almost. A lot of people don't like the vocals. They work for me. They worked for me from the jump. They're super high-pitched shrieks. If that's not your thing, I guess this probably isn't going to be your record, but I mean, I like that style of vocals, and I think this is actually one of the best examples of that style of vocals. So, man, number 2, incredible record. Absolutely loved it. And finally, my favorite album of 2024, one that I listened to more than any other, drumroll, is the new Lifvsleda record, Evangelii Härold. This is a Swedish project. I don't know what literally any of those words mean. I have Googled them all and I've just come up blank, so I don't even know if it's Swedish or what. But this is just orthodox second wave black metal, very death obsessed. I said previously, and I actually got some raised eyebrows for saying this, but it kind of feels like just going out into the snowy forest and cutting your wrists and taking drugs. And the reason I said that is because that's just, those are kind of staples of the Swedish black metal scene. Self-mutilation, drug addiction, just like pure degenerate lifestyle stuff. And, it's so weird. I don't know why I enjoy that, but I just do. There's just something about black metal that can take that sort of emotion and turn it into something that's just beautiful and something that you just want to keep coming back to. I mean, maybe it's the fact that it can kind of externalize it and turn it into something that you can engage with outside of yourself and grapple with it in a way that's safe and I don't know, maybe almost therapeutic. Regardless, that's not really talking about the music on this album. This is, like I said, orthodox second wave black metal, made by veterans of that scene, or at least guys who were making black metal in the early 2000s before it was just like a super easy, popular thing to be doing. Incredible record. So many catchy riffs on this one. It's still got the Swedish melodicism, but it's just like really melancholic, and the production is perfect. I mean, it is perfect production. It's cold. There's no other way to describe it. It is just ice cold production, and the vocals as well are just phenomenal. I don't know that I've ever heard vocals like this, actually. They're not your typical shrieked black metal vocals. They are higher pitched, but they're sort of crackly. And I think I read in an interview that the guy actually said he literally just goes out in the forest and like yells into a microphone. And they have that quality. They kind of sound, I don't really have the musical vocabulary to explain it exactly, but they're not like compressed and super processed, right? They literally sound like he's just like yelling at trees or something. They have like an open, almost unedited, unfiltered quality that just really works for this type of stripped down and emotive and dark black metal. So that was my favorite album of the year. I don't want to say by a long shot because there were a lot of contenders, but it was pretty clear to me that was going to be my favorite album from the first week that it came out. So that's my list. Feels cool. Another year in the books. 2024 was a killer year of releases, and I'm looking forward to another great year in 2025. Please let me know your top 10 in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. I'm spending the entirety of January just catching up on albums I missed from last year. So let me know what you liked. It doesn't even have to be 10. Let me know your 3 favorite records. But I truly want to check out new music and check out albums that I missed. So absolutely let me know what you guys have been listening to. Hope your 2025 is off to a fantastic start. And as always, I appreciate everyone watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one.